Hey, how's it going? If you can't tell, we got a little bit of a vibe today. Or perhaps I'm just hiding the bags under my eyes because I'm tired. But you'll never know. Before we get into today's episode, I want to talk to you about a company that's doing things the right way for the right reason and doing it in an innovative way. I'm talking about Med Global Group. They are an international medical equipment product services marketplace. They have a combined 30 years of healthcare marketing experience, and they're doing this in over 165 countries internationally. If you're not familiar with them, you may have noticed that I've posted about the Bearded Biomed landing page on Insights magazine. That's these folks. They're in-house designers. They are pros. They know what they're doing. They're doing it in an innovative way through latest technology. Now, Med Global, they're client-centric. There's no bull that's hidden behind fees or anything like that. It's competitive pricing, monthly subscription package that starts at $39 a month, includes the full store for your company and product listings on their digital buyer guide, which I'm talking about is Insights. This is one of the coolest magazines I've ever gotten to be a part of. It's interactive. The reader experience, it stands out between any print PDF that you're going to get. It's not an annual publication. It is a living buying guide developed and designed, integrated through Med Global Group. And that's going to help maximize your exposure using their technology through unique targeted content. They have a limitless global reach, people, and they're doing it without killing millions of trees annually. Just go out there, visit medglobalgroup.com, check out the Bearded Biomed Insights landing page. And if you got any questions, I'd be more than happy to give you some more insight on them. See what I did there? Insights. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the episode. Take care. Bearded Biomed. Welcome back, bearded guys and gals, to an all-new episode of the Bearded Biomed. I am joined by Carrie Stevens, friend of the show, 24/7 Magazine, chief editor. Welcome, Carrie. It's been a scheduling thing here and there, getting you on here, but welcome to the 2023 version of Bearded Biomed. I'm happy to have you on.
I'm happy to be here.
And we all know, folks, what's the one thing that we just love and look forward to every year from 24/7? It's the HTM salary survey. It is honestly a staple that I think everybody looks forward to because we want to see what the trends are. What are some of the insights that this huge demographic survey of just different conglomerates and different aspects of the whole biomed infrastructure across the states. Really, it gives so much information that's very interesting every year. And we embarked last year on the very first one on this show, and I think it'd be silly not to continue that trend every year going forward. So Carrie, I'll leave it to you. What would you say is the number one trend that you came across, or the thing that stuck out to you most from this survey?
Well, I think what was really interesting is in 2022, so it comes out in 2023, but we survey for the year before. There was a lot more women in the industry. So in 2021, women comprised 11% of the survey respondents. And in 2022, that was 22%. So it doubled. And it just kind of speaks to the trend of, I think in the past, the industry has always been so male dominated, but we are really getting younger blood and, more females in the industry. And, this month is the International Women's Month. And I think that's really cool to point out that we are getting more women in the industry because it's been a long time.
Very fitting.
Yeah. And I mean, still, I know 22% is not even a quarter, but it's notable. I mean, each year we see it ticking up a little bit, and the fact that it's doubled in 2022, I think is extremely notable.
No, that's huge for one, I like that more people are engaging with your survey, because the more data that you guys collect, it gives us a better snapshot of what's going on, between the biomed pay landscape. I think not only you mentioned that, I want to say Justin from Better Biomed as well. He was looking through his demographics, and he's noticed an uptick of his female subscribers as well.
Yeah.
So, I've seen more also female interaction on a lot of the biomed groups, and I think it's safe to say that we're starting to finally get an influx of more female talent into the biomed ranks, which is what we need.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't it be amazing if, let's say, 5-10 years from now, we could say half the field is female?
I think would be amazing. So I have a daughter who's almost 9, and she's really interested in STEM careers. I was actually telling her about the biomed career. Mommy does this, is what I work for. And she's like, oh, that's interesting. And I think, not to give away my age, but someone that grew up in the 90s, I don't think a lot of women were told they could do these jobs. I mean, I know for myself, it was, the STEM careers were really, really not discussed. And I think it's amazing. And I really hope this continues. And then, in 5-10 years, it is 50%, because women are outpacing men and graduating from college and all of that. So I think the fact that we're getting more women in the field is very notable. So I was really excited to see that. And it was actually really surprising. I didn't expect to see that. So
it makes me glad that we kind of waited to do the episode during this month anyway, because it just makes it more fitting and rewarding.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a really cool thing. And also, another thing we really noticed in the survey was an uptick in respondents that are pursuing further education. So 35% of respondents said they are currently pursuing formal education in the 2022 survey. And in 2021, that was only 18%. So, that's also notable. So more women, more education. And
that anybody that's listened to my show, maybe a couple episodes, I harp on continuing education.
Yeah.
Our field requires that.
It does.
We go through the DoD Biomed program, the maybe civilian college program, Amy's pipeline program, through apprenticeship, what have you. That's just the building block. That's the foundation. Then you got certifications, your CHTM, your CBET, your network certifications.
Yeah.
Then you can go into, I've seen there's biomeds out there that have masters and doctorates. So what does all that lend you? Well, for one, it's going to lend you more money, because you can argue for that. But our field is so intrinsically dependent upon continuing your education, whether that also be through going to OEM manufacturer training as well, your left seat, right seat, learning from a senior tech or somebody experienced in a particular modality. We're always constantly learning. So that was an exciting stat for me, that probably my, right after the female uptick in engagement on the survey, the learning aspect of people going out and furthering their education was very exciting to see.
It was.
We need more of that.
We do. For the industry to grow and get the respect it deserves, we need more education. And especially, with all the cybersecurity issues the medical devices face, we need an educated industry to basically thwart that. Because yes, I know IT is a lot of times in charge of the cybersecurity, but the biomeds, the HTM professionals, they're the experts at the devices. So we need education, because, y'all are the ones that know what these equipment does, and basically why, the key vulnerabilities that the equipment faces. So
another thing I want to point out to those watching, listening, is if you are planning on taking either the CBET or the CHTM, maybe this year, or it's just in your future scope, and you don't have any of that material, I recommend that you reach out to me because I can hook you up with it. I can give you some suggestions and, assist you any way that I can in getting that accomplished for yourself. I'm planning on probably getting my seabed as well. I probably should have gotten it a long time ago, but I was focused on getting my degrees covered first. Then I got the CHTM last year. Man, it's already been a year. So yeah, seabed's next on the docket. If I'm going to harp on continuing education, then I also got to do the work myself. So y'all can't call me out on it. I can't be a hypocrite on the mic. So good job, everybody, going out and getting new accolades, new credentialing. It's always fun to see, especially for the younger emerging generation into the biomeds. Continue to get after it, and it's going to be rewarding one way or another, especially when you're looking for promotions, pay raises, etc. Speaking of pay raises, we had some interesting figures as well. And I'm sure I think we can break down a little bit of what we think is happening here, but across the landscape, it looks like we did have some raises.
We did.
Were there any notable ones that I think we should start with?
Yeah, the Mountain West region. And the good thing about our salary survey is we break it down, by region. So because obviously there are discrepancies, certain regions are more expensive to live in, and we do tend to see higher salaries in those areas. But the Mountain West, it outpaced most other regions in the survey. BMET 2s really had big financial growth. Their median salaries grew from $60,500 to $75,100 year over year in 2022. So, that's big. Oh, and the BMET 1s in the Mountain West saw their salaries go up from $47,500 to $67,200 year.
That is a huge.
These are big numbers. Huge. Definitely outpacing inflation, which is what we want to see. So, obviously, some regions saw bigger growth, but the salaries. I've seen more impressive salary growth in certain years. It was definitely there, but again, life is a lot more expensive now. So, we also have inflation to consider with all of this.
Yes, I think what's interesting is, I think across any workforce, we can account for inflation, right, to justify some of these raises. Cost of living has gone up. But like you had mentioned before, is you see more impressive raises in the past as well.
Yeah, we have.
Could it also, I think we could probably correlate one of those trends being with people got out there, got more education, right, got their credentialing up. So that could have facilitated a raise or a promotion. Also, people had just been in the field longer, so they could have warranted a raise based on, what was your performance like, et cetera. But I think a big part of it is probably inflation. And looking at some of the numbers, some of them outpaced inflation. Some of them probably are like tiptoeing that line a little bit. And I think what's going to be fascinating is to see what's going to happen with, the market and what the Fed's planning on doing with the raising the interest rates even more. I had watched a conversation with Jerome Powell, and I think they're planning on still raising interest rates. To give you all an idea, currently right now, so this is not me flexing my credit score or whatever, but I have an 800 credit score. I'm currently in the market for buying a house because I have a kid on the way. We just need more room. I'm already crowded. My podcast and work environment is right next to a crib just because we don't got the room. So we're looking for a larger house. We got to offer in, et cetera. With my payment history, my credit score, it's really good. Still, I'm getting the 7% interest rate on this house that I'm getting. When early last year, we were probably between that 2 to 4%.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Fed's talking about raising rates even further from where it is right now. Because if that doesn't give you pause or, to plan effectively, it's going to be a problem. So it's possible we could see even further growth in, you know, what people are getting for this upcoming pay raise cycle.
Well, if you're not getting a raise, you're getting basically, you know, a
Living
lower salary. Yeah.
That's
Because
what
yeah, with inflation. I mean, I did want to point out, so clinical engineers nationwide did the best in 2022. So their median salaries grew 14,300 year over year to 103,500. So that was big. That was very big. Managers also broke the six-figure ceiling finally, and they saw their salaries nationwide go up to 110,500. So that was a 10,700 year-over-year bump. So, you know, I mean, these are good numbers, but BMET threes, oddly, they saw the slowest salary growth along with director executives. So, I mean, certain job titles definitely fared better than others in 2022, and that's something we've seen every year.
Well, I got my promotion last year after sitting at a BMET 3 position for 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
What I started the company with probably, you know, is 6 years from now is BMET 1s entering the workforce are getting paid more than I was at Tech 3.
That's crazy.
I think a part of the reason Tech 3s are not getting as much of a jump is they're kind of establishedly priced into the market already, whereas Biomed 1s with cost of living adjustment and inflation, they're going to see a more rapid rise when it comes to their pay rate just because they're on the lower tier of that pay rate. So there's more adjustment that has to occur to, one, be enticing for somebody to come work for you, but two, to make sure that you're not pricing yourself out in the market as well as a in-house position or a ISO company, OEM, whatever. That's just, I think maybe just an aspect of it. I don't think it's the full answer, but it would make sense that, you know, your twos, threes, and your managers already have a price index placed into the whole,
right,
you know, what we're going to pay each other. Whereas the Tech 1s is just the pay rate. Just speaking with other seniors in the field, it's way different than when I was talking to one of our female leaders the other day, and she said when she entered the workforce back in the day, she as a Tech 1 was $8 and some change.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
She's been in for a while, but if you can imagine $8 as a biomed back in the day, and now people are making 25, 27, even higher an hour.
Right.
That's a huge difference.
Absolutely.
So again, I think a big part of, like you were alluding to, I think a lot of it's inflation, but you know, it's also the cost of living has just gone up, and I don't think that's going to change. I'd be willing to bet that we're going to see another adjustment probably after these rates hit again later this year.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I did want to mention, so you mentioned ISOs. ISOs had a much bigger presence in this year's survey than in past years. So
that's what I'm talking about. Represent.
Yeah. It was way up. But I will say, something that was way down, and I don't know if this correlates to the ISO presence, I don't know, is the benefits were actually down. People's all across the board, they were down. So, you know, what everything was offered as. So that was a little disappointing. Like only 83% of respondents get PTO, and that was way down from the year before. So I thought that was interesting. And only 81% of respondents get health insurance, which to me is way too low.
Okay. So my company I currently work for does a pretty good job at providing benefits and PTO and stuff like that. But even they fall short of providing certain things that, let's say, a Banner Health System in-house program is going to provide, because they have way more employees, way more staffing. They're not going anywhere.
Right.
For instance, I have a baby on the way, but since my company is under 50 employees, I can't use they don't offer FMLA leave even to, you know, the person giving birth, just because they don't have to honor that. we can use our PTO or just take time off without getting pay.
Mhm.
But, you compare that with an in-house program that has hundreds, if not thousands of employees, they're going to have better insurance. They're going to have better benefits that smaller ISO companies aren't going to have. That's one of the things that I recommend people looking at getting into, a field service position with the ISO company is obviously pay is important, but you also have to weigh what are benefits are coming with the position. Are you getting PTO, which to me seems kind of crazy that you don't get any paid time leave off at all.
I thought it was crazy too.
I mean, I get PTO, but I don't have like sick days, for instance.
Okay.
So you need to look at, you got PTO. Are you getting any kind of health insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance? Usually all that's wrapped into one.
Yeah.
Are you getting, does the company offer tuition reimbursement? A lot of companies don't do that. I think our company does as well, but there's so much more involved than just the pay structure. And sometimes that can impact what they're going to pay you as well, because they're providing you all these other services. But that's something that people need to take a hard look at, because if you're running a ISO company with, just a handful of guys, you can't provide all of those benefits. So I would hope that they're subsidizing that with your pay and giving you more than to, allow you to go out and find those benefits. But that is something that everybody needs to account for when they're looking for a position.
Yeah, the fact that 19% of companies represented in the survey are not offering health insurance to me is crazy, because I mean, that's such a basic need. And, some people I'm sure are getting it through their spouses or by, but still that's a huge, to me, disservice for people not to be offered health insurance.
It's rough out there.
It is rough. Yeah, for sure.
So obviously, as well, along with your survey, you also ask questions because, of experiences that you might have with your current job based on your position. Maybe you ask people, what are some things that you see within the field or their current position? Were there any notable comments or answers that people left for the survey?
People really just talked about being overworked and the staffing challenges and supply chain challenges. I mean, those seem to be the top, I would say, gripes, but also, I mean, people, as they do every year, really praise the field for the diversity of equipment, just the ability to impact patient care. Those were the top pros for working in HTM. But people did talk about just the difficulty getting parts and how they're in ports a lot right now. And just how they're one person trying to do the job of 5 people. I've heard that a lot. That seemed to be a big theme in this year's survey.
Supply chain has been egregious, to say the least. I think it was more impactful probably that Q4 of last year, when you couldn't get defibrillator batteries, pads, basic stuff that everybody needs, just accessory wise. It wasn't available anywhere. I think that's slowly been accounted for, and part of that, with the ships stuck in the canals, transport across, continents. There was all kinds of stuff that was just going on, just creating this weird gap in availability. Some of that has slowed down, but there is still a backlog of parts right now. Some of the main OEMs that we go to for medical devices, for parts, supplies, whatever, they're telling us 2, 3, sometimes week lead time, sometimes months for getting parts out for your repairs. So I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've noticed is a lot of the suppliers are also adding fuel surcharges.
Okay.
Their prices have gone up on damn near every part they have. So I'm not saying that medical OEMs are price gouging right now, but I mean, across just any market right now, that's kind of been the theme, or at least what people are talking about, is a lot of companies are just raising their prices for no reason, and they're saying it's supply, or that's definitely an aspect of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I mean, again, with the shortages, the personnel shortage was mentioned continually. One of the comments, I'll read some of the comments we got. One person wrote, I am one person averaging 160 PMs. That's not including service calls. I'm responsible for 5 departments, including 40 operating rooms. I'm supposed to be a team of 4, but we are having a hard time finding qualified candidates. And then another person wrote, we were able to keep up with our workload 2 years ago with 9 technicians, and now there are only 5 of us. So it seems to be these departments are consolidating and people are overworked. I mean, 45% of respondents called their workload heavy and 10% called it excessive. So while people are saying they love the industry, they're overworked. That's been a common thing I heard throughout the entire
I told people in January, episodes aren't rolling out right now because I am behind in work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just by myself, I had 2,100 scheduled work orders for myself for January. I caught up at the end of February on that.
Wow.
Luckily, February wasn't as harsh, but I can sympathize with that.
Yeah.
For the people out there that, especially that gentleman I was talking about, they went from 9 to 5. There's also been a difficulty finding candidates. I mean, right now, my current company, we're searching for 2 open Biomed 1 positions, and besides finding somebody that we like, I'd say 70% of the interviews we schedule over the past month, no call, no shows.
Wow.
Like, didn't even. And to get to my corporate office, I'm driving an hour just to go speak with this person in person. No call, no show. I had somebody do it twice in a row. Oh, okay. Well, I had this going on. Okay, we'll reschedule you for next week. You drive out there again. Nobody shows up. Didn't hear anything. I understand that you have no obligation to meet with us, but my thing is, you applied to come work for our company,
and then you post them. Yeah.
I'm a little bit old school in that retrospect. Is if I am seeking you out for a position, I'm at least going to give you the courtesy of, hey, I found something else. I changed my mind, something. But they just disappear off the face of the earth.
I have heard that a ton. One of my best friends is a corporate recruiter, and she said she gets ghosted continually. And I'm like,
I hate it. It is the worst feeling ever.
Do not ghost people. Do not ghost people.
I mean, because I'm willing to build somebody up from the ground up. I would rather somebody acknowledge that they don't know how to work on everything and be willing to learn and teach them everything than somebody that says they know everything and then find out they're not that good.
Absolutely.
I'm not even complaining about the pool of credible candidates. I'm more complaining of there is an enigma right now within the hiring pool of biomeds of just common courtesy, respect, timeliness. I'm Army, so if you're on time, you're late.
Right.
If we schedule an interview for 9 a.m., I'd probably be live, ready to go at 8:50. I've had a candidate or two show up 20 to 30 minutes late with not really an excuse. And this is on a Zoom call.
Yeah, wow.
So I've spoken to other hiring managers out there. It's not just me. I know everybody's feeling the pain right now. For those of you that are entering the workforce or Biomed 1s, you'd be so surprised at the impression you could leave just by one showing up, but showing up at least 5-10 minutes early. It does leave an impression. For the gentleman that was talking about his workforce being depleted from 9 to 5, like we had spoken of, there are tools out there that I'd have to do a little bit of digging, but people have built ways for you to calculate based on the amount of equipment that you have to service and the manpower you have to service that amount of equipment. And you can use that to justify either increasing your team if you already don't have those positions available. I know some systems they're just downsizing, period. They don't care if you need the manpower or not, if you can justify it through numbers. But I do know after speaking to some people that they don't even know that this exists. I would probably think if I had to guess, it'd probably be through Amy that has done this. But there are tools out there to help you justify increasing your team based on your workload. So if anybody has the information, share it in the comment section or shoot me an email. I'll disseminate that. I'm probably going to look a little bit more into that as well because we need some more help too. But
well, you're doing a great job with Bearded Biomed, and I think just how you're getting the word out about the profession is amazing.
And is there anything else notable that we should cover before I let you go today?
I think just the main thing is, we do this survey every year for the profession, and it's really cool to meet with people, especially at AME every year. People come up to me and say, thank you for the survey. This helped me get a raise. And it's funny, before the survey comes out, I get so many emails from readers just asking, when is this data coming out? I need to go to my boss. So just, it's awesome how we know that this survey is really able to serve the profession and help y'all get the raises you need and just justify why you're being paid certain amounts. And then, if you see that you're being underpaid, you can go to your boss. And if you see maybe you're making higher than a lot of people in your area, you just keep quiet and be happy. So and be grateful and not say a word because y'all deserve the highest salaries you can get because this industry is so integral to patient care and we know that. So.
And just perspective wise for anybody just wanting to know, well, what am I going to get paid here for this position? The main takeaway is it's going to be entirely based on your region because that's also going to account for cost of living, accessibility to qualified technicians. So you might have an area such as California where, basic living expenses are going to warrant you are going to be close to that $80,000 to $100,000 range just as a regular tech. Whereas somewhere, completely a little bit more isolated than that isn't going to warrant that much money compared to California, which they're an enigma in themselves. So what I would recommend is, for one, go to 24/7, look up the HTM salary survey. Y'all have put together a pretty robust breakdown of what each region's getting paid based on the position. And that will give you in the ballpark of what you should ask for, negotiation for raises, etc.
Yes, and be sure to check out our digital edition, which is on 247x.com, 247xmag.com, because the digital edition has all the salary charts that are in the print edition. So you can just see the breakdown and make sure that you're being paid fairly.
Right. And if you're watching on YouTube, I am going to have a link to that in the description. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or what have you, that'll be in the description as well. So you can just follow that link straight to get you there. As always, Carrie, I love having you on.
Thank you.
You are a beloved friend of the show. And also be sure to check out Carrie's MedCore podcast. They don't just cover biomed, they cover a plethora of topics. So very insightful. Just the amount of scope of what you guys are covering on that podcast is really cool.
And you might find your bearded friend on our podcast to discuss the salary survey in the next week or so. So
there you go. All right. Well, as always, I appreciate you being here, and may the beard be with you.